Kim Appleton is the co-founder of Noffert Group in Wichita, Kansas, and is currently serving as the executive coordinator and director of operations. They are known for their innovative approach to business growth and team success. And recently, Kim and her team implemented Kee Technology's system for Follow Up Boss, and our Follow Up Boss is set up back in December of 2024. And within weeks, Kim shared with us that after implementing the system, they saw some amazing results, which I'm excited to dive into during today's call. And Kim specifically credited the system Overhaul with helping revive older leads, helping them convert them into active clients. And their team story is a powerful example of how a strategic technology and process optimization can help completely re-energize a business. And I'm really excited to dive deeper into Kim's insights today. So Kim, thank you for joining me and sharing a bit about your recent successes, but I'd love to learn a bit more about you and your team's journey. You're sharing a bit about your team's origination story. Could you share a bit about how the team came to be?
Absolutely. So during COVID, my partner, Brenda, who is our lead agent, she was a teacher at the association and we couldn't have classes anymore. And our production was fine. I mean, it was just her and I just kind of running her business. And she kept saying, man, I wish there was a way that I could teach more. I wish there was a way that I could mentor more agents without giving up my production, without making my production suffer. I mean, she had been a mentor a couple of times previously, and every time she would notice that her business would go down in order to help other people. And so she said, okay, I think I want to start a team. So during COVID, we kind of kicked around that idea. Her husband decided that he wasn't going to be a supervising broker anymore for that period of time. And we got really serious about sitting down and starting a team. She started with a showing agent that was an agent in the brokerage, and that went really well. And we realized that we were kind of looking at the dynamics of other teams in the market, and we just weren't seeing what we wanted to see as far as what a team could be. And so we sat down and formulated what that was going to look like for us, right? We were going to take brand new agents and we were going to teach them every aspect of the business. We were going to teach them how to list houses, how to sell houses, how to explain all the documents, right? Make it as super simple as possible. And May 2021, that's what we did. We launched the Noffert Group, and it's been a journey ever since.
So from 2021 now to 2025, what does the current structure of your team look like today? How many agents do you have? Do you have any supporting staff? Could you share a bit about what that looks like?
So currently I've got 13 agents on our team, including Brenda as our lead agent. And then her husband, Chris, and I run the entire back end with the help of a pretty tall tech stack. But each of us has different strengths. I love building systems. I love, figuring out how to make all the parts work together. And he is really good at teaching, at conveying all of the information and taking a system that we built and getting it out there so that everybody's bought in and using it. And that has been really great.
Yeah, and I love that you shared that your team's a bit different and that you operate with a lot of transparency. Can you share a bit more about what that means? How do you operate with more transparency?
So one of the things that we do is ultimately Chris, Brenda, and I make all of the final decisions on things, but every new product that we're going to try, every new idea for something that we're going to do, we run that by the team. So we've got a team meeting that happens every Monday morning at 10 a.m. It's in person. Everybody comes in. And in that team meeting, not only do we celebrate everybody's wins, but we go over something that we call unspoken rules, which is a super funny thing, but basically everything that happens in everybody's deals everywhere. Or if somebody calls up Brenda and says, hey, I have a problem, how do I solve it, right? Or they call me and they say, hey, I've got this going on, because not only are you working with the agents on your team, but other agents in other deals and stuff, they'll reach out. You gave good advice before, so I still have your number, I'm going to call you. So any of the things that we come across, we kind of make this running list all week long. And on Mondays, we'll go over, hey, here's some stuff I never thought to train you guys on. And now that we kind of brainstorm, hey, what would you do in this situation? So they kind of have an idea of what they would do. And we kind of empower them to have some ideas there, get some good engagement. And then we will go through, hey, here are some solutions to that. So they know how they would handle it by the time it could ever possibly happen to them. Or fingers crossed, some of them don't, like they're like, oh, I hope that never happens to me. And we're like, yeah, definitely. So we tackle some of that way. But then we also go over any decision we're going to make, right? So when we were going to bring in Kee Technology to redo all of our drip campaigns, we wanted to know where they thought there were holes in the system. Are you guys happy with the smart list that we're using? Well, no, not really. Okay. What are some of the problems you're having? And so that way we were able to make an informed decision about what things we wanted to have done, or if there was something that we're happy about that we didn't change it. Like we didn't want to do something that they were then going to be unhappy with, even though ultimately we make those decisions. They know how much money we spend. They know what we buy. I firmly believe that given the experiences that our agents have had on our team and the fact that they learn every bit of the business, they could absolutely go out and be solo agents and be successful all by themselves. But we make it so easy and we treat them so well that they don't. They just stay on the team because it's easy, it's fun, it's somebody to do business with.
Yeah, culture is huge whenever you want to not only recruit, but retain those agents. So would you be open to sharing a bit about, you mentioned just a few moments ago that you have a large amount of technology that helps support the team. Would you be open to sharing a bit about what that technology looks like?
Sure, absolutely. So the first thing that every agent, every team needs is a CRM. So the CRM that we have chosen and absolutely fallen in love with is Follow Up Boss. We've been with Follow Up Boss for several years. And somebody would have to come along and really have a really powerful tool that would have to solve a problem that at this point I don't even know that I have in order to steal us away. I mean, that system is amazing and it's customizable in so many ways that anytime that I do see, oh, hey, there's a problem, we can find a way to work around that. So there's that. Pretty quick after we signed up with Follow Up Boss, we found Ylopo, and Ylopo uses a marketing hub. So they host our website. They design it all, even though I'm able to get in and manipulate that myself. I don't have to if I don't want. I can get on there with somebody and be like, hey, I need this done. I'm too impatient and I'm kind of OCD, so I get in there and just do it myself. But if there's something I can't figure out, there's always somebody I can call. With that marketing hub, not only do they do our website, they also do all of our Facebook marketing for us, so buyers and sellers. They also do our Google pay-per-click marketing. So anytime that our name pops up ahead of, somebody else's name, especially Zillow sometimes, that's thanks to the marketing that they've got out there for me.
Very good. And then what about transaction management? What do you use to support
so
there?
at the end of the year last year, we added SISU as our accountability transaction management system. So it is incredibly robust at tracking for the agents how they're moving the needle with people and where things are in our pipeline. And then they're not as robust as something as large as, say, open to close. But they do have a transaction management system that once it's set up, functions pretty well. It does. It does take a little bit to set it up. But it's fully customizable. So if there's something that I want it to do, I just have to figure out how to do it. And I've only been using it now for about 4 months. So less time than I would like to be to say that I'm an expert at it, but we've done a lot with that one. So I think those are our 3 bigs that support the major backbone of our team.
That's great. And then beyond Ylopo, I think you mentioned there are some other lead sources that you provide to your agents to support their business. Could you share some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple of different levels of agent on the team. I realize that every agent's commitment to a real estate team is going to vary, just like every agent's commitment to the business varies. So our active agents, who are agents that are closing a minimum of 3 deals per quarter. Okay, right? I mean, in order to put a piece of business together consistently, you have to be moving the needle somehow, right? So you're putting in effort. They have access to all of my lead sources, and those include Zillow. They include Google local service ads, sign calls. We purchase leads from ZBuyer. And then I think there's probably a couple of other ones. Did I already tell you Zillow? I can't even remember. But yes, we do those. Veterans United is the other one that we partner with. So yeah, we're one of their preferred agents in our market, and we do a fair amount of veteran business because we are right here by McConnell Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you started the team 2021. You continue to you have a very unique business model for your team. You operate with transparency. You're able to retain the agents really well. You implement Ylopo. You implement these other lead sources. Then how did you hear about Kee Technology and then decide to work with Kee Technology?
So we were, I think I probably found you a couple of years back on the Follow Up Boss Ylopo Facebook group. And I'm like 1,007% sure that it was actually Barry Jenkins who was like, I don't even need to talk to you. And it was you. And at that time, I was still determined that I could sit down and build out drip campaigns. I had already built out our smart lists, and I had followed Barry's smart list plan. I mean, I had done the master class. I was relatively confident that I absolutely knew what I was doing.
Well, it's about to get worse.
We were in the place where I think all newish teams get, where they have more time than money, right? So I was determined that somehow I was going to figure out how to do it. Okay. I should have never done that, because I will tell you that for probably 2 years, we wasted a lot of money buying leads that were not being followed up with correctly, right? Because we weren't implementing drip campaigns, because what was there, it's completely overwhelming. I mean, there's like 13,000 buyer campaigns to look at. Like, how was I ever going to find what I wanted? And how was I ever going to know if it was working? And how was I going to segment the lists, right? I was like, oh, it was way too much. But I was determined, come on, I could do this, right? So 2 years later, I finally was like, all right, guys, there's a hole in the system and I need you guys to help me find it. And we started talking about things that we should be doing. And it was really in our coaching program that our coach sat down with the list that we'd gone over with the team about things they'd like to see. And he was like, so you guys aren't doing any drip campaigns? And I said, no. And he said, okay, that's a huge hole that you need to fill like right now. And so I turned to Chris and I said, I know how to fill that. And he goes, you already don't have time. And I said, no, but we have money. And he said, what's this going to cost me? And I said, I don't know. I think she told me it was about $700 a couple of years back. So maybe $2,000. It's like, you tell me we're going to fix this 2 years ago for $700. And I said, yeah, but I was determined I could do it myself. I couldn't. And so thank God you guys came to the rescue, because it has been like night and day ever since.
That's awesome. So, what did the implementation look like after you decided to move forward, and then have the initial implementation call? And then what did that transition period look like from your original Follow Boss account over then to the new Follow Boss account?
So it was incredibly simple. We sent in the initial email, and then I think we got a link to the website to go and fill out the form and put in our payment for like the first half. And so I think we did that. I think we got an email back saying that you guys would be ready to start. And it was like at the end of December, like it was like almost holiday time. So I had expected that we were hands down going to be waiting probably 6 weeks. And it super wasn't. It was fast. Like within a couple of days, it was like, hey, we're about ready to start this. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I wonder how long that's going to take. Not long at all. You guys had all of that together. I think maybe tops, it was 2 weeks start to finish that we had all of that being set up, which was strange because of course, like things were changing on the back end and it would be like, oh, hey. And the team members would come and be like, hey, what are these? And I was like, I don't know. Don't click on that yet. And so, I mean, they knew it was going on, but like there were things that were showing up that we didn't know. But everything functions still the same for us. It's just they would click on things, they would see like a new pond, or there was a new set of emails that were sitting there, things like that. They would see things that were just changing just little bits. And of course, again, because we don't hide anything, they could see all that going on. And so they were like, oh, what's this? Well, don't click there yet. We'll tell you. And Chris and I did our implementation call, and we got all of the packets for all of the different things that we had asked to be added, that we paid to have added to the system. And the packets were actually really good because I'm one of the people that's like, okay, I have to click around and I have to understand how these people are getting here, what's causing them to go there. And so it was really easy to read and understand what the different triggers were and what needed to happen. And we had our like buy-in meeting with the team where we were like, hey, like this is what's going to happen. And you're going to see that some things are weird because we have been doing this a different way than we're going to do it now. But just jump in the deep end with us. It's all going to be fine. And so it really forced them to get in there and start cleaning up some of that stuff that maybe they hadn't touched in a long time because, oops, maybe now it's in the wrong place. And so they did. And we did. We found a little bit of things that were like, oh, well, spur of the moment, I had to decide where that was going to go. And I guess I picked the wrong thing. Ha ha, move it back. And so we did all of that. The team super bought in right away. And I think that's the key to any system with any team lead out there is you really have to get your team members to invest their time and fully buy into that system. And once they do, you have to keep reinvesting them time and time again. You have to keep re-enrolling them in every program that you want them to participate in. And so we have definitely done that. We encouraged them while we had our office hours to bring any problem that they had. And if we couldn't find the answer, that we would go to the office hours and get the answer. I'll tell you, I think we only had to go to like 1 or 2 office hours. It was a really simple process. And I think my favorite thing was every system I've ever bought, I've had to set up, right? And there's all the time that takes. There's all the thinking that takes. This was nothing. All I had to do was decide, okay, which ones do you want us to put in there? And so we picked. And then in our implementation call, it was, okay, you guys are all set up this way. How does that fit with everything that you've asked us to put in? And so we had to kind of jockey things around, and then the agents had to touch it. The way that we got them to buy in, though, was we ran a competition this first quarter because we launched that January 1 with the team. It gave Chris and I a little bit of time to get in there and play so that we could understand what was happening. And we did that over that Christmas holiday. And the second we were back in the office, we launched that first team meeting. We said, okay, your follow-up boss is different and here's what's going to happen. And so we went in with all of the cheat sheets. We gave that to everybody. We got them all set up and enrolled. We answered all the questions. We spent our whole team meeting going over that and making everybody comfortable. And I said, okay, here's the deal. Like, here's the prize pot. It's got $50 in it right now. But we're going to play this game called Mining for Gold because this new system is going to uncover a lot of people that you guys have not been following up on. And it's now going to send them emails. The drip campaigns are live on them. They're going to start getting some stuff and they're going to respond to you. And you've got to use these smart lists. You've got to clean these out. Like this is what we're going to do. And you guys are really good at putting together new business, like Zillow leads. You guys turn those like no other. Great. BU, turn them like no other. Great. LSA, yep, you answer them. We've got a deal. Great. You're not so good once somebody's been in there a year or longer. If you've had to chase it, you probably dropped the ball. So now that these drip campaigns are there and these smart lists are there, picking up some of this stuff, I want you guys to work on getting some of that older stuff turned. And the way we're going to incentivize that is for every deal that you put under contract that has been in our follow-up boss for 12 or more months, we're going to give you points for that. You're going to get points for every month old that something is. Almost immediately, one of our agents reached out and got a lead that responded to one of the drip emails. And that lead had been in the system for 32 months, 33 months at that point. By the time she got her under contract, She just flipped to 3 years. So she got 36 points for that. They sold a home and they bought a home. This has been incredible. The making the change and finding a competition that we could run, or a challenge rather, that we could run that was going to incentivize that buy-in and really get them to have to use the systems that we were teaching them, and putting money where our mouth is, right? I'll pay you to do this. Really made it so that they all just took off and ran with it, and it made a huge difference. Most agents in January are not making phone calls. They're not, I mean, no, everything's dead, right? I mean, oh, I haven't touched this in forever. Between what you guys put in our follow-up boss and what the agents were doing, we have closed twice as much as we've ever closed before from January 1 to today. And pending business, I think I'm at 3 times as much pending as I've ever had pending.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, when I was looking at your reporting numbers and follow-up boss, I knew immediately that you got 100% buy-in from your agents.
yes.
Because the numbers were staggering. And I'm actually perfect timing. I wanted to show those numbers real quickly. Because I was looking at that exact specific time frame in your account of January through March. We're not even to the end of March yet. And this is comparing January through March compared to October to December. So just 3 months, the first quarter basically of 2025 compared to the last quarter of 2024. The calls logged in Follow Boss went up 43%. The text messages sent went up 29%, and the appointments set went up 460%. That is amazing. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So that is a testament to just how unique your not only unique your team model is, but the adoption of your team with follow bosses. So that is not easy to do. That might be the first time I've ever seen those numbers. So congratulations to you all. Like, that is incredible. And then engagement rates of the action plans, just again, less than 3 months. The new buyer leads, 56%. Seller cash offers, I think the Z buyer leads, 57, and then Zillow's are 75%. So again, that's just incredible. And then I just pulled a couple of specific leads here, like this lead here. These are newer leads, responded to like the initial email. The agent immediately called the lead, and now this lead is currently under contract.
Yep.
And then this lead here, you probably recognize it just from the response. Responded to the initial email. Agent reached lead via phone call a few weeks later. Oh, it timed out. And then booked a showing and then closed earlier this month. So pretty incredible results just in the first couple months.
Yes. And those were regular. Keep in mind, I don't call them cold leads, right? Because I don't think that Ylopo is cold, right? Anytime that you get an internet lead and they were doing something that was real estate related, that's not cold, right? It really has to do with what you're doing with those leads, right? Real estate's a rabbit hole, right? If I saw a pretty house and I clicked on it and then I gave my information to see more and nobody reached out to me, if I'm genuinely interested in purchasing a home, right? If something has gotten me to that because I really, really, really have interest, if you didn't call me, I'll find the next, because I'll go and I'll give my info somewhere else. So it really is that speed to lead, because if you can just get them on the phone, and I've told my agents a million times, they are not selling houses. Houses sell houses, right? All they are doing is solving somebody's problem. And sometimes the problem is, I don't know who to call. I don't know what even the first step is to buying a house. And somebody getting on the phone and saying, hey, you clicked on that house. How can I help? Sometimes maybe it's nothing, but sometimes maybe it is. And so that's just, those were plain old Ylopo leads that they closed. They got them under contract very quickly. Within days. And that's incredible.
So for you personally with your team, how do you ensure the speed to lead? When you distribute the leads to your team, is it through a round robin style? Is it through first to claim? How are you distributing them?
So we do first to claim on all leads. Um, and the ones that are not first to claim end up being assigned to me. And then if I turn them, it's a whole different conversation. Because if they've had to talk to me before they get to an agent, now they like me, well, that's rough. So I do definitely encourage them to get them first. But the rule is that when you claim a lead, you have to be ready, willing, and able to call that person immediately. Otherwise, don't claim it. Because if I go and I audit our leads and I see that you claim something that you didn't reach out to, then I have to take that lead away. And if I have to take that lead away 3 times, then your leads get paused. So it really encourages them to do the thing. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, I think that our super collaborative, fun, upbeat, positive environment really makes it so the agents know. I mean, yeah, everybody has things, right? I mean, it's not uncommon for Chris and I have to remind everybody, hey, if you take a lead that you're not going to call, you're taking money out of, Amanda's pocket or, Kyle's pocket or whatever, because they were ready, willing, and able. They could have called that, right? But for the most part, we don't have to remind them because they just play the game the way they were taught to play the game. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Kim, thank you so much. You just shared so much wonderful information that you didn't have to share. I know that you said you're mostly just transparent internally, but I think you were also just very transparent externally and shared a lot of strategy. So thank you so much for not only being generous with your time, but also with your knowledge. You just shared a lot of helpful tips I think the viewers will find very helpful. So I really appreciate everything that you shared today.
absolutely. Thanks for chatting with me.